You're 8 years old. Your mom is leaving for work. You're the oldest. Watch your little brother. She didn't ask. She didn't check. She just said it. You nodded. Because that's what good kids do. Because you're the oldest. From that moment on, your childhood quietly ended. No announcement, no goodbye, no consent. But here's what nobody says out loud. This isn't character building. It's called parentification. 67% of oldest children don't know how to ask for help. University of Illinois, 2019. Not because they're strong, because they were taught their needs come last. Most oldest children don't cry when they hear this for the first time. They get angry, quietly, inside. Not at their parents, at themselves, for thinking this was normal for so long. I'm going to show you exactly how a childhood role still runs your decisions today. And one thing therapists usually say only after a few sessions, you'll hear it in 8 minutes. While the younger one cried, you were taught not to cry. While the younger one complained, you were taught to endure. Psychologists call this an invisible contract, one you sign at 6 years old without reading it. The deal was simple: approval in exchange for giving up parts of yourself. Masha, 34. I never learned how to be sick. The moment I get sick, my first thought is, who's going to cook for the kids? Masha is the oldest child in a family of 3. Her younger sister is 31. The pattern is still there. In the oldest child's brain, the prefrontal cortex matures earlier than it should, under the pressure of responsibility. Sounds impressive, right? A highly developed brain. But the cost is chronic amygdala hyperactivity, always on alert, constant stress. You're not mature for your age. You're a traumatized child who learned how to look grown up, like a steel rod in a living tree. The rod doesn't bend, it breaks. It breaks when you're finally alone. No tasks, no role, in silence. On vacation, at 2 a.m. That's when the emptiness shows up, the one you've spent your whole life filling with other people's problems. How long has it been since you did nothing and didn't feel guilty? Think about it, seriously. Not being able to rest without guilt isn't a personality trait. It's a symptom. Specific, measurable, and reversible. And it affects every decision you make right now. Before I say more, check in with yourself. Think of the last time someone offered help and you said, "I'm fine, I've got it." Did you feel relief? Or a little contempt toward the person offering? If yes, that's an anxious control pattern, hardwired like a reflex. Pavlov's dog. Instead of a bell, someone else's helplessness. Instead of salivation, your urge to take control. You can't help reacting. It's not your character, it's a neural pathway carved in before you could even read. Oldest children are 2.3 times more likely to choose helping professions, doctors, therapists, teachers, and 1.8 times more likely to burn out by age 35. They didn't choose to help, they were programmed. Alex, 41, manager of 40 people. I became a boss not because I wanted power, because I don't know how to be in a place where someone else carries the responsibility. Being led feels physically uncomfortable, not ambition, anxiety dressed up as leadership. Here's the hardest truth in this video, stay with me. The oldest child doesn't know how to receive, only to give. That destroys relationships. The partner starts to feel indebted. You keep giving, 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 and then you explode. Nobody appreciates anything, but you never gave anyone a chance to give something back. You're holding the door from the outside and wondering why nobody comes in. It's not other people's selfishness. It's your own closed-offness, which you mistook for strength. When was the last time you let someone take care of you and didn't feel weak? If you can't remember, that's your entry point. This is where the real work begins. Not becoming open, but noticing where in your body you tense up when someone offers help. Your stomach, shoulders, chest. The body remembers what the mind forgot, what nobody ever told you directly. Your parents weren't villains. They didn't know what they were doing. 89% of families with a parentified oldest child are families where the parents were raised the same way. Meta-analysis of 14 studies, American Psychological Association, 2021. A virus that's passed not through blood, but through role. Granddad was the oldest, mom was the oldest, now it's you. If you have kids, guess who's already received that role from you? This isn't blame, it's an x-ray of the family system. Once you see the pattern, you can stop it. Oldest children are more likely to experience imposter syndrome, not because they're less competent. They were praised not for who they were, but for what they did. Good job helping, not good job being you. One word difference, a 30-year gap. You learned how to earn love, how to earn your place. You can't just be. You have to do something to justify existing around people. It's like running a marathon every day and convincing yourself it's just a casual walk. Oldest children are 40% less likely to seek psychological help, even when they need it. I'll handle it myself. Others have it worse. Complaining is weak. Who said that first? At what age? Remember the face. They may not have meant harm, but they took away your right to be vulnerable. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the only channel through which something real can come in. Brené Brown spent 20 years proving that. You can spend 20 seconds feeling it right now. Think of a moment when you felt truly good being with someone. In that moment, you were a little unguarded, a little open, not strong, real. Behind the "I've got this" armor lives an 8-year-old who was never told, "Go play, I've got this." He's still there, waiting. Not for permission to help, for permission to rest. What's the point of working on yourself? Not to become someone else, but to meet who you were before they made you the oldest. Not a metaphor. Neurobiology of returning to yourself. You know what people do after a video like this? They go help someone. Seriously. The discomfort of realizing all this is unbearable. The oldest child numbs it with action. I'm asking you to do the opposite. One step that sounds absurd and changes everything. Step 1. For 24 hours before every yes to someone's request, pause for 10 seconds. One question. Am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? Fear feels like a tight chest. Desire feels like a pull forward. The body knows. The mind lies. Don't change the answer, just notice it. That already changes the neural pattern. Step 2. Practice small refusals. One no a week, just once. A coworker asks for help. I'm busy right now. No explanation, period. The first 3 times feel like a crime. That's withdrawal from the role. After 6 weeks, 23% lower cortisol. University of California. Step 3. The most irrational and the most powerful. If you do it, write what happened in the comments. Ask for help with something you could do yourself. Not because you need it. To train your brain that receiving is safe. A partner, a coffee, a friend, a ride, a colleague, an explanation of something you already know. Not weakness. Surgery on a living brain. Step 4. Find a photo of yourself before age 7. Look into those eyes. Say out loud, "You didn't have to carry that. That was never your burden." Sounds like some TV-style exercise? Exactly. It works. Emery. When you work with an image of yourself from the past, the same area lights up as during real forgiveness of a real person. In this context, the brain doesn't distinguish memory from reality. Use that. Step 5. About relationships right now. Find someone you trust and tell them one vulnerable thing. Not, "I'm fine," something real. "I'm struggling. I'm tired. I'm scared." 3 words, no explanation. See what happens. Most likely, nothing terrible. Inside, something will shift. Every time you do this, you rewrite the old code. Vulnerability equals danger changes into vulnerability equals connection. That's where real life begins. Not control, living. You're probably thinking, easier said than done. I hear you. 30 years of patterns won't be rewritten in a week. The first step isn't changing everything, it's just noticing. Notice the moment you take on someone else's burden, thinking it's yours. Notice it, and pause before the automatic yes. Here's the most polarizing part. Some people won't agree. Good. Being the oldest isn't something to be proud of. It's a diagnosis society dressed up as a virtue. Responsible, reliable, someone you can count on. Those aren't compliments. They describe someone with no boundaries, carrying other people's load like a medal. Sergey, 29. I was praised for being responsible. At 27, I ended up with high blood pressure. The doctor asked, "Do you know how to rest?" I didn't even understand the question. I didn't understand because rest was never part of his identity. Your value is tied to usefulness. Usefulness is a market category, not a human one. You are not a tool, but you were used for so long that you started believing you were one. When nobody needs anything from you, you don't know who you are. The oldest child existential crisis. It shows up at 30, 35, 40, when the role disappears. The siblings grew up, the kids are in school, work is stable, and suddenly, emptiness. You built your identity not around who you are, but what you do for other people. A house on rented foundations looks fine until the lease ends. Here's the question that will either blow your mind or make you close this video. If tomorrow you stop being useful, who would you be? Not what to do, who to be. If the answer doesn't come, that's not emptiness. It's a stranger inside you that you've never met. Meeting him isn't a crisis. It's the most important introduction of your life. Beneath the oldest child layer lives a person with desires, laziness, anger, and tenderness, all the things he never let himself show. The oldest child's anger is cold, controlled, and builds up for years. It comes out on the wrong person, a partner, a child, a stranger in line. Being angry at your parents was forbidden. They were trying. They loved you. You can love someone and still hurt them. Not a contradiction, reality. Before the end, one thing almost nobody says out loud. The people you rescue can feel that you're giving from an empty cup, even if they don't say it. Children feel an exhausted parent. A partner feels a person who isn't really there, even when they are. They didn't ask for sacrifice. They asked for you. Alive. Alive means with no's, with I'm not okay, with I'm tired and I want to lie down. That's love from a full cup. You don't have to forgive. You don't have to change in a week. But there's one question, and it will change your evening. You thought you were sacrificing for them. They wanted you, alive, not heroic. Alive, with boundaries, tiredness, no, and I need time for myself. Not selfishness. The only version of you that can have real relationships. Harvard's 85-year study, the longest study on happiness, says one thing. Relationship quality is the only predictor of a long, happy life. Not achievements, not money, not usefulness. Relationships, real ones. Ones you show up into, not just give to. You stole your own childhood, thinking it was the right thing to do. Adulthood is giving it back to yourself. Start today. One no, one pause, one I need help. If you took everything you do for others and did even 20% of it for yourself, what would your life look like now?